Okay, so the LILJ is joined right now by Plainedge Boys head coach Dan Achatz. Coach, how's it going here this afternoon?
Good, man. I'm very excited about the upcoming season and looking forward to you know a, a a very hard, tough schedule, but something that we've been trying to push here at Plainedge.
Yeah, so just want to thank you again just for taking some time just to kind of talk all things about the Plainedge Boys program and just promote the good things that you guys have going on over in Plainedge. So just first want to thank you again for joining me.
I appreciate it, man. I thank you for taking your time to get Plainedge out there and let everybody know what we're doing.
Absolutely. So just kind of want to talk to you just a little bit about kind of first going back to the 2024 season. So your first season as head coach of the program. And you guys had a good year. You made the playoffs in Nassau Class C, but just kind of like reflecting and assessing your first season as head coach of the team. Just kind of looking back on it, like how would you assess your first season as head
Uh,
coach?
well, I don't know if everybody knows, but I became the head coach midway through the season. So it was the day before we played Seaford. I took over as head coach,
Mhm.
and we played Seaford, and then we had Bethpage, Floral Park, and North Shore, like basically back to back almost. We
Mhm.
only had like a 1 or 2 day rest, so it was the heavy part of the schedule when I took over. Was not easy. I had to make it my own right away. And what happened was with Seaford, we lost 16-10. The boys just got found out about the other head coach, how he left, and me taking over. So there was a little bit of a transition process, obviously, and the kids had to compartmentalize all that. But when we had a few practices in, you can see there was a change in culture. Try to pick things up, make it more intense, and just make these guys realize that just because of what happened, all right, we can still control what we want. And going forward, there was a new direction. And we lost to Bethpage by a goal. We lost to Floral Park in overtime. And we lost to North Shore in double overtime. So those are really my first 3 games as the head coach.
Yeah.
Um, but that made us who we were come playoffs. We became a tight group. The work that we put in to get to back into the playoffs. We drew Mineola the first round. We played fantastic. We had a big win, and then we drew Wantaw in the semis, and we lost, but it was 12-2. And Wantaw they were a different animal last year, and the boys worked hard. I was proud of them. I thought we ended well, and it kind of kicked us off into this upcoming season.
Yeah, and it's so interesting and obviously very difficult, like taking over a team as the season is ongoing, not starting from the very beginning, but just being able to kind of like regroup and pick up the pieces and like recollect yourselves and still find a way to get into the playoffs and win a playoff game. Now, how do you look to kind of build onto that momentum going into the 2025 season?
Yeah, so the 2025 season, we're in the C conference. We made the Power Conference. We're ranked number 5 right now. So again, we have a very tough schedule up ahead. There's going to be a lot of work involved to compete with these teams, but that's what we want, and that's what I'm looking forward to. And these kids are buying in. Everything is going to have to be earned. Everything that we do in practice, and come game time, we have to be super prepared, which we will be. And the results will fall how they are, but the fact of how the culture is changing here, we want to be a top program, and we should be a top program. And the only way to get there is to put in the work. And that's my job, and that's what I'm happy to do. And I can't wait to kick it off in March. All the off season work, that's all behind the scenes stuff, which we'll take care of as well. But come March, we got to be ready because there's no easy games in our whole entire schedule.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you as well, just about like off-season stuff. Not like anything specific, but just like any, whether it was like fall ball or like winter stuff that you guys were doing, just
Yeah, so we just
getting ready.
played at the Herrick's ran a little tournament. So it was us, Oceanside, Herrick's, Calhoun, Locust Valley, North Shore. So we had most of our guys that some of the football players obviously they're playing Wantaw this weekend. So those guys could not play, but It was great getting the kids together. Everybody showed up. There was an energy, there was an excitement, and they played great this weekend. And we'll start all the winter stuff going into December, all the way up until March, and then it's season's going to be right here before we know it.
Yeah, the season it's rapidly approaching. It really is. We're just
Yeah.
a handful of months away. And just kind of getting back to one of the things that you mentioned earlier, something new for you guys being in that power conference for the 2025 season. And like, of course, like the teams that you guys will be facing during the regular season, teams like Cold Spring Harbor, Wantagh,
Yeah.
Massapequa, Farmingdale, teams like that were also in the power conference last year. But just kind of like getting ready and looking at that schedule and getting a chance to really face like the best of the best across Nassau County. Just like, how do you feel like that shapes your team? And just kind of like, what are you most looking forward to, I guess, about being tasked with having such a difficult schedule, but getting a chance to play other great teams in Nassau
I
County?
mean, listen, it's only going to make these kids better. I have to hold them to a higher level. I hold myself to a higher level. And that's really the road to where this is all going to change the culture. If we want to be this perennial team year after year, the community has to buy in. That's number one. So again, working behind the scenes with the youth guys, really just making sure that lacrosse is a focal point here in the town. And that's my job, and that's the youth and the dads and the moms and everybody coming together to continually build lacrosse here in Plainedge. And again, it takes a community to do this. So that's the first step in this whole, new era of playing these top teams. If we want to be here, I need help, and I'm going to ask for help, and I need my community behind me. I need my school behind me. I need the parents behind me, and that's how this whole thing is going to work out the way that I wanted to. But there's going to be a lot of work from film to off-season stuff to footwork and agility to everything and tying it all together. But the schedule it's not easy, but that's what I'd rather have, and I think these kids want that too. We want to play the best of the best, and that's going to prepare us for May. My goal as a varsity coach is, where are we going to be in May? Are we going to be a better team than we were when we started in March and playing these top teams? And sometimes you got to take it on, take one off the chin, regroup, figure it out. But that's all part of the process. And I know that we'll get there, and we'll compete with these top teams.
And coach, I think it's just such an interesting perspective. First of all, just getting a chance to play like top teams, that's absolutely what you want as a competitor, having a chance to go up against the best of the best. And like you said, help it shape you and prepare you for the postseason in May. But one
Yeah.
of the other things that I also found interesting in your response, and something that I've also heard talking to other coaches as well, in terms of like building sustained success with a program, like it does start at the youth level and like really being involved with the community, like with the parents, with fellow coaches, with the town, and like just kind of talk about maybe some of the things that you're doing or looking to continue to do in the youth program at Plainedge, just to kind of help build that sustainability as these kids get older and eventually make their way onto the varsity program at Plainedge.
Yeah. So as the varsity coach, I feel it's my role to really help out the whole entire youth system. So one of the goals is that this winter I'm going to have a meeting with all the coaches that are involved, any parents that want to come, and we're going to go over the system of how to plan a practice, what we should be targeting at each age level, and are we hitting those benchmarks with the kids, how to build leaders with strong character, like all those little details, they have to also be addressed as well. And that's my job. So I'm gonna, I'll have a big meeting with everybody. There'll be a PowerPoint. I'll show them what I do, my expectations as a head coach, and somebody else who lives in this community. This is where I live also. So I truly care about everybody that's here, and I want to see nothing but success here. But again, it takes a lot of work. So I'm going to need people to buy in and work with me and put in some hours, with these youth kids.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely doesn't happen overnight, and it definitely takes a collection of people to kind of like build that sustainability and that success. But
Absolutely.
But Coach, I just want to thank you again just for taking some time to do this interview for the Long Island Lacrosse Journal, just to kind of get the good word out there about the Plainedge Boys program and like all the good things that you have going on and that you plan to continue to do throughout the future during your time at Plainedge. So again, just want to thank you for taking some time out of your day to talk to me.
I appreciate it. And you guys doing an awesome job just helping all of us varsity guys and programs, getting out there on social media. The kids love it. It's the way that the culture is now. And I thank you for, taking this interview as well.
Absolutely, Coach. Thank you so much.
All righty.